Hey FreightWaves fans, I'm your host Chad Prevost, and today I'm visited by senior data scientist Brad Hill. Say hi.
Hello.
And every day we are trying to bring you at least one useful thing to your life. And one of the things that he's going to talk to us about today is about this major corridor between Seattle and Los Angeles. It's a major logistics corridor. And take it away, Brad Hill.
So we're going to talk about seasonality a little bit today. What I've got up here so far is the previous 5 years pretty much, since 2014 up until now, this is the Seattle to LA rates. And as you can see, every fall pretty much, I mean, you're talking September all the way to about the end of December, there's a huge spike from Seattle to LA in terms of rates. What generally happens is once it hits that peak, this red line here is your 60-day moving average. After it hits the peak, it generally drops below that. If you'll notice last year, it actually didn't drop below it until about mid-April, which is very different than the previous years.
So what do these trends follow, Brad?
So these trends kind of follow what's available in the area. When you're talking about Seattle, you're talking Christmas trees, you're talking apples, those kind of things. And there's a very narrow window for when that's actually going to be, available for movement.
So seasonality type of stuff.
Right, and seasonality. And the great thing about seasonality is that it should be predictable year over year, right? I mean, you should be seeing the same kind of peaks, just all of the same things in that situation. The big difference here was last year, right? And so we've got to think about moving forward from this peak, which we've hit.
Yeah.
Is it going to do the same thing as last year? Is it going to wait until April to drop all the way down, or is it going to go ahead and drop below where it has in the past? And the main thing to think about there is our outbound tender rejection index. If we go over this tab, the outbound tender rejection index for Seattle, you'll notice that we're pretty low here, right? We're pretty low at 7.7. Whereas last year, around the same time, where we saw that change in the seasonality, where we saw it drop below that moving average, it was at an unprecedentedly high level. So really, I would expect for moving forward, it'll drop back below that moving average, kind of like it did in 2015 and 2016. Moving forward from there, we've also got LA to Seattle, which is the other direction, quite clearly. This is also going to be a very seasonal kind of lane. This is again rates, but from LA to Seattle instead of Seattle to LA. Now you noticed it's almost flipped,
right,
from what Seattle to LA is. The big seasons for LA to Seattle are actually in the summer. You go up in June, and about the end of June, that's the peak.
At the end of produce season, or for the seasonality trend, is that what they're moving up north? Or you may not know that as a data scientist.
Right. It just kind of depends, right? I mean, so there are different causes for that, but generally you're going to be talking produce, you're going to be talking just what's available in the market and when it becomes available.
So anyway, it usually follows this trend, and
right.
Wow, look at what is happening here.
Right, and so the big thing to see here is that generally the trend is a peak in June and then another set of smaller peaks at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that consistently, 2014, 2015, 2016. 2017 was a little bit strange here. You see that the spike was in June, but then actually that smaller winter spike was bigger in 2017. So again, last year we saw unprecedented O-Tri, right? It was in Seattle, it was in LA, that kind of thing. What we see at the end of the year here so far is we've got that smaller spike.
Up to the date.
Right, smaller spike just like we did in the past. Now, what to expect moving forward out of this is that I would expect to see another smaller spike, because what you've seen in the past is you've seen this double spike here, end of November, end of December, and then it drops back down. We've hit that end of November spike, but we haven't hit the end of December spike yet. So I would anticipate another spike and then dropping low again.
Wow, good information. You heard it here today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. Brad Hill, awesome job. And we're sporting the sweaters like the Mr. Rogers neighborhood look today.
It's a wonderful day. So.
Great to be here with you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.